Welcome to the Cookie Tracking Workbook. This workbook is designed to track all the details of a cookie campaign, regardless of how complex the flow of cookies may be or the mix of payment methods is. There are 4 worksheets that are essential functions of this workbook, and everything else is a bonus feature. So do not be intimidated by the number of tabs on the bottom of this work page. To get started, go to the Summary tab and enter the names of everyone who will be selling cookies. If you need to add a name, just hover till you see this plus button and then you can add a row. If cookies will be stored in more than one location, you can also update the names of your storage locations and you can edit the names of the cookie campaign. On the Cookie Log tab, we will record all information about the movement of cookies. The first entry that we need to make is to say that a leader or more than one leader is picking up cookies from the cookie warehouse and will indicate the campaign, the number of cases, and of course the date. If there's more than one leader, then we can add their transaction picking up cookies from the cookie warehouse. As your campaign progresses and you record more information, your cookie log will start to look more like this. So this is some fictional data about a completed mint campaign and the start of a spring campaign. You can filter this log, so if I wanted to switch the date to be from newest to oldest instead of oldest to newest, I can do that here. But if I want to zoom in on a specific person, they could be listed in both the cookies to and the cookies from column. So to filter for a specific person, we can go to the Per Person tab and choose their name from the drop-down. So in this fictional unit, Azalea simply has 3 cases of cookies she picked up on a single date. I can also zoom in on a specific event. So if I select Market from this drop-down, I can see that cookies came to the market from Daphne's stores and from Violet's family stores, and I can see that at the end of the event, cookies left the market to Marigold and to Rose. This drop-down menu only shows names and events that are recorded in the cookie log. So if someone is listed on the Summary tab, but they have not signed out any cookies, they will not appear in this drop-down menu. The Per Person tab is for data reporting only. If you find errors and you need to make a correction, return to the cookie log rather than attempting to make the correction here. The final worksheet that we need to look at is the Payments tab. On the Payments tab, the first column is for the date that the payment was received. Total is a calculated value, so as you enter data, skip over that. You'll select the unit number or the event that the payment is associated with. Caregiver is optional. And then enter the amounts under the payment type. So money could be received online through bill payments or through Square. Could be cash or could be check. If a payment was made by check and you want to note the name on the check, because the names of adults do not always match the names of kids, you can record that name under Caregiver. I also record Square under Caregiver if it was a Square transaction, and if it's an online bill payment, then I would also record the name under Caregiver associated with that online bill payment. The allocation column will allow you to select which cookie campaign it was for, but you can also record donations in this column as well. There is a section for notes, and once that payment shows in your bank account, you can record the transaction ID. If you want to add other allocations, if you want to track camp payments, for example, you can add that in this allocations table on the side, and that will become a new option in your drop-down. And that now shows up. Now that we have data in the cookie log and the payments tab, let's see how all of that information is summarized on the summary tab. The first table at the top of the summary tab is a count of our unsold cookies in our storage locations. So this shows that for our completed mint campaign, there are no unsold cookies. But for our classic campaign, we can see that we have a total of 84 cases and 7 boxes that still need to be signed out to individual sellers or to be sold at a group event. It also calculates the value of those cases. The next column is for unit members. For this mint campaign, we can see that everybody has paid and there is no outstanding money. But for the spring side, we can see that some people have signed out cookies. For example, Lily has signed out 2 cases of cookies and has not paid anything, so she owes $144 for those 2 cases. We can see a total of the outstanding amount, and we can also see a total of paid. The third table on the summary tab summarizes group sales. Cookie handout is a default placeholder that also exists in this table, and this is to keep record keeping clean for storage locations. For cookie events, there's often payment through Square as well as through cash, and this table summarizes the total amount, but if we want to zoom in, we could go back to the payments tab and filter to find the breakdown there. The fourth column on our summary tab is total cases. So we have, by default, we have options of cookie warehouse, surplus, and unit transfer. So we can see for the mint campaign with this fictional unit that they started with 80 cases of cookies, but then they transferred out 2 cases of cookies, and their bank account should show the total revenue for 78 cases. In this column here for expected revenue is for that gross revenue of $72 per case. This cost column shows what will appear on the unit's cookie invoice for those cookies. Because revenues are shared across provincial, area, and district councils in different ways, this number will vary by region. To make sure this number is accurate, at the top of the summary tab, there is a unit cost per case sale, and you can enter this. When you update this number, the unit profit per case will update as well. So the final section of the workbook to review is this little summary at the top of the workbook. It will include the total of unsold cookies from the first table, the total of assigned cookies from the unit members table, and the total of group sales from the third table. This top total cases column is calculated from these numbers here. If this number doesn't match the number from the table at the bottom, it means that there's an error somewhere in the cookie workbook. This could be that there's a typo in the name of a person or event in the cookie log, but I'll make a separate video discussing how to troubleshoot this workbook if things are not working as expected. To review, we have 4 worksheets at the core of this workbook. Most of our data entry occurs on the cookie log sheet and the payment sheet. The per person tab and the summary tab summarize our data so we can easily understand everything that's happened in our campaign. And with that, I wish you happy cookie selling and a successful campaign.